friends. Thank you for joining me today. Today we are in our 5th week of Lent. Now, do you remember what Lent is? You might remember that Lent is a time that we spend preparing. We spend getting ready, getting us closer to God. And what are we preparing for? Do you remember? Do you remember what the big day coming up is? It's Easter, and Easter is a time of joy and celebration, a time that we celebrate that Jesus is alive, that Jesus will be with us in our hearts forever and always. But right now we're still in Lent, and this week we're talking about sad things. That word is called grief. Grief is when we lose somebody or something that we love so much. Have you ever lost somebody or something? Maybe it was a person and you miss them. Maybe it was a pet and you are just aching because you miss them. Maybe it's something that you have and you lost it or can't find it or it broke and you are feeling bad. That's called grieving. Well, our World Kid friends, they are experiencing grief in many different ways. They have a class pet in Sunday school. Let's see what happens.
Hello, everyone. I'm afraid I have some very sad news today.
What is it, Roxy?
Well, when I arrived this morning to set up for Sunday school, I found that Hannibal Hamster, the class gerbil, passed away last night.
What? Oh, no! Hannibal Hamster! No!
I'm truly sorry. I know this is hard for all of you.
Victor's gonna be so sad. He was the one who donated Hannibal Hamster to the Sunday school. He named Hannibal Hamster. He loved Hannibal Hamster.
Oh, dear. I didn't know.
Didn't know what?
I'm very sorry, Victor, but Hannibal Hamster passed away last night.
Hannibal Hamster? My gerbil?
I know he meant a lot to you.
Where's his body?
Janitor Jerry is going to bury him by the edge of the woods. I'll check to see if he's already left.
Victor, we're really sorry. Yeah, Hannibal Hamster was a great gerbil.
He was. And he shall be remembered.
Poor Mr. Fuzzler will be so lonely now.
I didn't even think of Mr. Fuzzler. All right, let's continue with Sunday school.
Victor, if you need some time, we understand.
I don't need time.
Victor, you're clearly upset.
I must be strong. I must stay hopeful and positive for all of you. I am the cornerstone of this Sunday school.
Victor, you can have hope and still be sad. Do you want a hug, Victor?
I'm fine. I am completely fine. And even if I'm not fine, I will be fine eventually. So why should I waste time crying about my beloved gerbil now?
Where's Hannibal Hamster?
Oh, hey there, Montgomery. A very sad thing has happened.
Sad?
You see, Hannibal Hamster has passed away.
Passed away? But I loved him.
I know. I loved him too.
Why are you crying?
I can't. I'm too strong.
Jesus cried. He's strong.
You got me there.
Leave it to Monty. All part of the healing process.
Sometimes it's really hard to grieve, and sometimes it's really hard to help your friends grieve, because maybe you're not grieving and you're not feeling sad like your friends are, but you want to help them because you love your friends. And it's really hard when you don't know what to do. But the best thing you can do as a friend is to be there for your friend, to be next to them, to ask them questions, or to not ask questions if they feel like they don't need to talk about it. But the best thing that heals our heart is to talk about what makes us sad, who makes us sad, and then not to talk about the sad part, but talk about the amazing things. Now, I know that I miss my grandparents so very much, and they are in heaven now. And I'm sad. I'm sad that my kids didn't get to know them. I'm sad that they didn't get to hang out with my grandma and my grandpa. I'm sad that they didn't get to go to my grandpa's church. I'm sad that they didn't get to eat my grandma's amazing cooking. I can't even describe some of the things that she made, and I'll never be able to cook it as good as she did. But the great thing is their life lives on through my stories. I tell my kids about going to Papa Jack's church. I tell my kids the stories about how my brother ate way too many hush puppies that my grandma made and got sick, and then we giggle and laugh. I share stories about them all the time, and it heals my heart a little bit, and it helps my kids remember to know people that they never got a chance to meet. So talking about it is a great way to heal your heart. Jesus is sad in our Bible story today, which we don't see that a lot, right? We don't see Jesus moping around. Jesus is usually out there telling us to love others and telling us to share God's love with everybody. But today in our Bible story, Jesus is sad. One of his friends died, and Jesus is really sad about that. Let's read it. Our story comes from the World Storybook Bible. Our story is called Lazarus Up from the Grave. Now you can find this very same story in your Bible. Just go to the book of John, chapter 11, verses 1 through 45. Let's read. The disciples had never seen Jesus cry, but he was crying now. Jesus put his arm around Mary. Her face was wet with tears. Mary and Martha's brother Lazarus was a good friend of Jesus, and he had died. When Jesus heard Lazarus was sick, he was in another town far away. Jesus waited 2 days before traveling to Bethany to see his friend. By the time Jesus and the disciples arrived, Lazarus had died. If you had been here, Mary cried, Lazarus wouldn't be dead. Our world friends say, oh no, Jesus was too late. Give it time, Otto. I'm sure Jesus has a plan. Your brother Lazarus will rise again, Jesus assured Mary. Mary wiped her tears. Jesus, Mary, and her sister Martha went to the tomb. Friends and neighbors gathered around the tomb to grieve with Mary and Martha. Remove the stone, Jesus said. The crowd shoved aside the huge stone blocking the tomb. Martha whispered, but Jesus, Lazarus has already been dead for 4 days. Jesus turned his eyes to God and prayed, Father, thank you for always hearing me. Help this crowd see what's about to happen and believe. Lazarus, Jesus shouted, come out." The crowd gasped. It was Lazarus, walking out of the tomb. Lazarus was alive again. Many people who saw this believed in God. How could somebody see this and not believe in God? Jesus just brought somebody back to life from the dead. Wow, that was a big Bible story, wasn't it? It wasn't just all about love and sharing love, but it was filled with love. It was filled with love because you know how much Jesus must have loved Mary and Martha and Lazarus. Jesus loved them so much. He asked God to help him bring Lazarus back. Did you notice that he was buried in a tomb? You know, we don't bury people in tombs, in big caves with a big rock rolled over. But when Jesus was on earth, that's what they did. They buried people in tombs. And so they had to roll away the rock, and they went, and Jesus called out to Lazarus to get up and to come out. Isn't that interesting? We will see the tomb again in our Easter story with Jesus. So when we read this story, we read about Jesus. We read about Jesus' great love for others. And we read that Jesus is there to give us hope. Now, Jesus isn't walking around on earth today, right? So we don't have that hope that Jesus can come over and heal our friends. Jesus surely cannot come heal my grandparents, right? It's been a long time. But what Jesus can do is Jesus can heal my heart. Jesus can make it easier for me to talk about my grandparents, for me to share those stories. Because when they first died, when I was grieving really, really big, I couldn't share the stories right away. It hurt. It hurt my heart to talk about. But now I have a whole new perspective on it. Time has gone by. I've prayed. I've told Jesus how I feel. And now it's not so hard to talk about. In fact, I love talking about it. I love talking about the people that I miss so that other people can get to know who these people are and who they were in my life, because they'll never have the chance to meet them here on earth, but they will have a chance to hear the stories and the memories that I hold really special in my heart. Well, for our craft, we're going to learn how to draw a labyrinth. Do you know what that is? It's kind of like a maze. It looks like a maze, except for there's no dead ends. There's no wrong ways. There's no twists and turns. And it's actually a way that you go in and then you come back out the same way. It's more of a time of thinking, of praying. It's a time that we spend thinking about our thoughts, if they're happy or sad. It's a time that we can say a prayer, but have a little movement while we do. Some labyrinths are really big and you can walk them. You can find them out in nature a lot, and you can walk it and you can stop and pray and look around at God's great creation. But I'm going to teach you how to draw a labyrinth that is for your finger to trace. So go get some paper and something to write with. Okay, my first step is to draw a cross right there. And more of like one that's centered in the middle. Then I'm gonna draw a dot on each side to make 4 corners, like you're making a square. Does that make sense? Notice how I have a lot of room at the top and a lot of room at the bottom, because we're gonna need some room for that. Then my first part is I'm gonna connect this little dot right here to the top of my cross. And I'm gonna make an upside down U, just like that. Then my next one is I'm gonna take this part, looks like the cross of an F, and I'm gonna go up and over my upside down U and stop at that top dot. See that? And then now this one, this dot, I'm gonna go up and around, and I'm gonna stop at this line right there. Do you see that? And then this one, I'm gonna go down and around and all the way and stop at the dot. And that's what it's supposed to look like. So what we do is you take your finger and you start here and you go up and in and you trace it all around. Then you kind of go back and up, down and over. And then you get to the center. And then when you get to the center of it, you say a prayer or think of something, a memory of somebody that you have lost or that you're grieving over. And then you work your way back to hope, because we went into the labyrinth with sadness, with grief, and we're coming out with hope that our heart will be healing. So now I'm going to come out, go around, and down and over, up and out. And you can use this over and over again. You can practice making them so they look different. You can decorate it so it can be pretty. You can make different colors. It's just a prayer tool, another way for you to talk to God, especially if you're feeling sad. I will see you next week. It will be Palm Sunday. It will be Holy Week. We will start with a celebration of Jesus entering Jerusalem and everybody shouting Hosanna. And then we will walk through the days of Holy Week. And then I will meet you on Easter. All right, my friends, have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.